Hello Assassins, welcome to Rhinozoid Gaming. Assassin's Creed Valhalla Dawn of Ragnarök will be released on March 10, 2022. It brings many new features that change the mechanics of the game. I thought it would be a good time to give you an overview of the leaks that the trailer provides. So without further ado, let's get down to business. Dawn of Ragnarök DLC brings a lot of new content to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where Eivor is confronted with the most difficult test of any expansion in franchise history. Since the DLC is held in Svartalfheim, the new objects and mechanics possess mythical powers, which help Eivor throughout the journey to stop the imminent fate of Ragnarok. However, time alone knows whether they will help Eivor triumph at the end. Assassin's Creed expansions are known for their constantly changing additions to the original gameplay, in particular the previous 3 titles. The Origins and Odyssey DLC extensions included new features for the 2 games, but Valhalla brought them to a new level. In Wrath of the Druids, a new business system in Ireland was introduced that became one of the best ways for Eivor to earn resources in the game. Likewise, the Siege of Paris introduced the Scythian type of weapon and a more narrative style of assassination. The Dawn of Ragnarök follows this path, but amplifies it, giving Eivor the power of the god Odin. There are 4 new elements come to Dawn of Ragnarök. Divine powers, a mythical place, 3 new foes and powerful objects. The godly powers of Odin rank themselves as the greatest development of the new elements. Every aspect of this DLC is engulfing players in the Ubisoft version of Nordic mythology and the events of Ragnarok. Cassandra of Odyssey recently met Eivor of Valhalla in the crossover content, but this is not the only thing the two share. Odyssey's Fate of Atlantis inserted divine abilities into Assassin's Creed. It boosted the player's stats by an incredible margin and helped reverse the trend in tight battles. The Dawn of Ragnarök is now making the transition of these divine powers from the Greek world to the northern world, and there are 4 different capacities to the divine powers of Odin. Odin's first power absorbs the powers of defeated enemies, permitting players to store it for later use. A scene in the reveal trailer shows Odin striking a dead ice-like enemy after a fight, and his power is transferred through gauntlets. Although there are no dragons in AC Valhalla, this potency is similar to Skyrim's Dovahkiin absorb the potency. The next divine power of Odin, a mechanic of changing crow form, is the more intriguing of the others. Dawn of Ragnarök continues the Siege of Paris by trying to make the killings more stealthy and life-giving. Odin can turn into a raven, fly towards an enemy, and quickly turn into an assassin. Ubisoft has been criticized in its latest Assassin's Creed titles for not giving players enough freedom when they murder targets. Raven's form shift brings more variety of killings to Valhalla. Resurrecting defeated enemies from the dead is Odin's 3rd divine power, and it is the most unusual addition to any Assassin's Creed. Necromancy is a regular ability in games such as Witcher 3, Skyrim, and ESO, so it's interesting to see Ubisoft, a studio focused on more historical elements, take a shot at in Valhalla. Nonetheless, it now joins Assassin's Creed Valhalla's unlockable abilities. Odin's 4th and final power adds a molten lava shield to his skin and adds ice powers to his firearm. Aside from the narrative, Dawn of Ragnarök focuses heavily on combat, because the premiere trailer shows Odin surrounded by enemies, taking them on in what looks to be the last stand. It makes sense that players need more protection and powerful weapons to fight the challenge that awaits Odin as Ragnarok dawns. With God-fearing powers, Dawn of Ragnarök also brings new enemies to Assassin's Creed's Valhalla. Ice and fire monsters from other Scandinavian mythological kingdoms made their way to Svartalfheim, challenging Odin during the events of the saga. The Jotnar are the ice monsters of the kingdom of Jotunheim, and they have similarities with the Hellwalkers of the god of war. Muspels are the other fire-type monsters living in Muspelheim, an environment which has not attracted much attention in video games. Although Ubisoft has not confirmed the final aim of the Jotnars and Muspels, they appear to be subordinates controlled by a greater power force. At the head of the new enemies we find an unkillable boss Surtur. At this point, there is not a lot of information about Surtur's attributes, but a giant fire boss is the strongest opponent Odin or Eivor has ever faced. In the revealing trailer, the giant holds a massive sword and flows from the molten lava of his body. Other enemies stand around Surtur as though praising its power and achievements. But we may conclude that among the hardest enemies of Assassin's Creed's Valhalla, Surtur is the leader of the pack. Eivor also travels towards a new kingdom called Svartalfheim in Dawn of Ragnarök. It's the dwarves' homeland in Nordic mythology. Humongous mountain peaks and underground caverns were the main focus in the premiere trailer. Ubisoft built the world to have a similar exploration aspect as the regular game and other DLCs, as that's one of the studio's strong points. The way Svartalfheim will relate to the other mythological kingdoms of Valhalla, such as Asgard. However, it is not clear at this time. Reports indicate that he is under the invasion of Surtur, and the minions of the giant, and Odin's son is kept captive in the kingdom. Svartalfheim is a beautiful world and will help Valhalla keep up one of the best open-world designs of the gaming industry. So in the end, what can we expect of this new DLC? The upcoming AC Valhalla DLC in March has a great deal of new content to offer. While Eivor plays in the form of Odin, these new elements will help both to work together to save Ragnarok's son Odin and the evil invaders. However, it may not be enough to bring out Odin living at the other end, as Nordic mythology points to his final moments during the events of Ragnarök. Though now it will not be Fenrir to swallow the almighty god, it will be Surtur, the most powerful giant that Eivor and Odin have ever faced. For this reason, Dawn of Ragnarök is most likely the final for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and one like on the video would really help me out. Subscribe by clicking directly at the bottom and keep an eye on the channel. I'll meet you in my next video. Goodbye.